In your Capitol Connection tonight, the Democratic-controlled General Assembly is moving forward with plans to amend the state constitution to protect reproductive rights, including abortion.
Today, a House committee advancing a proposed constitutional amendment along party lines. Capitol Bureau reporter Tyler Englander joining us live from the state capitol. And Tyler, what would this amendment do?
Well, Eric, Deanna, the proposed amendment would protect Virginians' access to abortion in the first 2 trimesters while allowing the state to impose restrictions in the 3rd trimester. Tonight, a fiery House Privileges and Elections Committee meeting at the state capitol as Virginia Democrats voted to move forward with their plans to amend the state constitution to protect abortion rights in the Commonwealth.
Every person should be able to decide if, when, how, and with whom to start or grow their families.
The beginning is conception, and if life begins at conception, we are talking about snuffing out of life.
The proposed constitutional amendment says that every individual has the fundamental right to reproductive freedom. That includes decisions relating to contraception, abortion care, miscarriage management, and fertility care.
Since the Supreme Court's decision in Dobbs, we have seen some states enact dangerous abortion bans that have endangered the lives of women. We are determined to protect every individual's reproductive freedom, and HJ1 will do just that.
Democrats say the amendment is compatible with current state law by allowing abortions through the first 2 trimesters and allowing the state to prohibit abortions in the 3rd trimester. However, Republicans like House Minority Leader Todd Gilbert say the amendment goes further than state law by reducing the number of physicians required to sign off on a 3rd trimester abortion and doesn't include language that would allow the state to prohibit abortions if there's a state interest in protecting the life of the unborn.
I think it gives courts pretty clear instruction that they are to ignore any of the rights, if they exist, of the unborn child at any point in the pregnancy, that all of those rights are afforded only to the mother of the child.
I asked Democratic House Majority Leader Charnel Herring about Gilbert's concerns about reducing the number of physicians who sign off on a 3rd trimester abortion from 3 to 1.
You have an emergency situation and there's one doctor that's on call physically there, and then they're not able to find another physician, that you're risking the life of the woman.
And now, while the House Privileges and Elections Committee's approval is a key first step, there are still several more hurdles for this amendment to clear over the next 2 years before any changes to the Constitution can be made. Live at the state capitol, Tyler Englander, 8 News.